G'day guys, welcome to the first of our Jimbo webinars. My name's Mike Davenport and tonight we're going to take a look at how to register and install Jimbo on an app or on the web. We're also going to take a look at setting up franchisee details, and we're also going to then take a look at taking a tour around the app to see what it can do for you and how to operate some senses of it. Okay, the first thing we need to do is that everybody needs to head towards a website called www.jimbo-app.com. This is the website for absolutely everything Jimbo. So whether you're registering for Jimbo or whether you've got some questions you want to ask, whether you want to provide some feedback or you need to contact support, this is the website that will absolutely answer all of your questions. What we'll take a look at here is just some of the tabs at the top. This will also assist while we're still waiting on a few people to log in. In terms of the tools that Jimbo can help you out with, it'll certainly track quotes and invoices for you. So this is going to do all of your business work whilst you're on site out there working. It'll also manage all of your quotes. It'll create job cards. And overall, it'll track all of your overdue invoices at the click of a button. So perhaps when there's a wet day and you might be out there with your iPad and you can't do much work, then all you'll need to do is simply pull it up, hit one button and say, right, I'll start ringing these people to see whether they can start paying their accounts. The great thing about Jimbo is that it runs on any internet or browser, or it uses an iPad 4 or later, and that way you get the full Jimbo experience. There's also a little companion called Little Jimbo, which is for the iPhone, and that's also a great way of being able to be completely mobile in your business. The next tab along we'll take a look at is part of the tour, and you'll see here that it's very easy to customise to suit your business needs. So again, user management's quite simple. You can add and edit user information. You can also customise all of your data management, so uploading products and services, stock list expenses, whatever that may be, it will take complete control of. You'll also have some social links to set up your social link calendar, so things like Twitter and Facebook, and there's also some general settings to set up your company and your business information. So things like making sure your ABN's in there, making sure your bank account details are there, and perhaps a postal address as well for customers to contact you. All of that will be set up and then put back onto invoices and quotations automatically so your clients can contact you. Some of the advantages also, it's a way of increasing our profits. What we're aiming to do is to save all of our franchisees time. So instead of being out there doing some work and coming home and then having to spend half an hour or an hour or so doing some paperwork, the Jimbo app will assist you whilst you're out in the field. You'll do a job, you'll make the invoice or do the quotation and quickly email that off to the customer and seek payment. It'll track debtors very easily. So again, just keeping on top of that sort of stuff, making sure we've got a positive cash flow. It's important for all businesses to have a positive cash flow. Save time, which we've talked about. It'll give you up-to-date reports and analysis. I think most franchisees will probably do the job, provide an invoice and collect money. And that's probably the extent of most franchisees' businesses. What we really need to do is analyse what some of that information is telling us. So again, being able to find out perhaps what our hourly rate really is, what is the average profit per job, finding out where all of our expenses are and in which position we could perhaps improve in. So again, getting a really full analysis. The great thing about the reports is that they are up to date. So if we keep Jimbo up to date and in real time, we're able to run those reports at any point. And you'll see here through this bottom little graph here, these are just some of the fantastic reports that you can get. Monitor your guys in the field and their performance. So again, you've got staff members you can help out and see how they're going. Book jobs in on the move. That's where you're able to have a client call you. They may say, listen, can you get the job done next Thursday? Instead of saying, well, listen, I need to go home and check out the diary or something, bingo, this will be online. Dial up next Thursday. Let's take a look at the date. Let's see what's on for that day, and we can perhaps book you in straight away. If we can't book you in for then, let's book you in at another time that suits everybody. Advantages for guys on the road, again, managing jobs and schedules by using electronic diaries on the iPad. Again, you see you've got your whole iPad calendar that you can access. Building up work image folios and attach to the job. You can take some great photos of before you start the job, after you've done the job, attach those to quotes or invoices and send them off to your clients. They're also a great way to be able to do some of your sales as well, because you're able to talk to your clients, and where there's perhaps just a little bit of uncertainty, let's pull up a job that we've previously done and actually show the client, is this what you're looking for? Clients tend to find that that's a great way of doing it. Access to the company's electronic catalogue, again, that's part of our brochures that each division will control, and we'll take a look at that a little bit later on. Generate quotes, invoices, and receipts on the go. So again, we can take the payment straight away. There's a link to MyOb, which has got some great access to us. And again, we're just starting to really build a complete business in what we're doing. We can add and manage customers on and offline mode, and again, then head back home and sync if required. But again, all of this can be done on the Jimbo app. If I take you back up to the top, I'll skip the next one, which is register for users. We'll come back to that. We have another section at the top here, which is our frequently asked questions. So this will be one of your first places to come if you've got a question to go to. Come to the jimbo-app.com site and make sure you have a look and see whether you can answer your own question before we go any further. You'll see here tonight that we've got things like installing Jimbo. So there's a number of questions around that. There's some information there that can help you, and it may just be the little piece of information that solves your problem. The other area that we've also got in terms of some help is that we've designed our tutorials. You'll see here that we have a user manual that's all built in. If I take you down to page 10, you'll see the quality of these manuals. So you'll see we've got some great screenshots, and you'll see that they're all laid out quite well, and we've got some great definitions to attach to those as well. This is the part of the front office here, and obviously we have our back office here that we'll talk about later on and go through. You'll also see here that we've got some other information where we can break down, here's our social links, and also the dimple menu, which enables you to navigate to anywhere within the system. So again, we'll show you some of this a little bit later on. But this is the quality of the manual you've got to work with. So if there is a question, you can certainly access the manual and see what to do next. Take you back out of there. And if we also look at some tutorials, what we've also done is that we've actually sorted out some videos to help franchisees find out how to do something. What we've done is we've put a list of about 15 different videos in place where they're short and sweet. So they only run from about 30 seconds through to about 60 seconds. And what they do is they enable you to say, look, how do I add a client? Let's take a look at the video and let's see how we can do it. We're not going to make you sit through 15 minutes of video to find out the one piece of information you need to know. We've designed them to be quick, short and sharp, and you can have your iPad there and probably follow them and help put in some of that detail as you're going. So you'll see that we have a number of those. We also have some around quotations. Again, so you're out there and not sure what to do. How do I create a quote? Bang, let's take a look at creating a quote. It'll go for no more than 60 seconds. The other area that you can also provide us with some feedback is our video feedback. Now, whether that's video feedback or it's purely feedback about the Jimbo app, that's fine. So again, you've got the opportunity to give us some feedback, and there may be some videos that you're actually looking for that we can provide for you along the way. The next tab I want to take a look at is our contact support. And so this one here is an important tab because this is also where you'll go to see who you need to contact and for what reason. We have an off-site company called Mobilised IT, and they provide all of our front-end support. So all you need to do is call 1300 648 123, and you'll speak to somebody there that can help you actually fix your problem and also set you up and get the app working. If you can't get them on that number, call 03 8609 2510, or you can also email them at support@mobilisedit.com. So again, they're our front-end support. If they can't answer it for you, they'll certainly contact our infotech and take a look at and make sure they get the answer for you. One piece I want to point out here tonight before we go on is just Jimbo support during the Christmas period. So you'll see here that our national office will be closed between Wednesday the 24th all the way through to Monday, January 5th. Obviously, emergencies will be responded to, but most of our support will be down in that period. Jimbo support, though, will be provided by Mobilised IT, and you can see here that they've mainly got the main days off, so they should be able to cover the full support in that area. In terms of user guides, again, through coming to our contact support, you'll see here there's a link here straight to the manual. If you've got any sign-up questions in Jim's Jobs importing, I should point out that Jim's Jobs importing, we're doing a session on that one tomorrow night, so we'll find out more detail around that. But you would simply email infotech@jims.net. If you have any carrier-based issues and you are on our Jim's Optus plan, again, these are the email and phone numbers to call. If you're with your own carrier, perhaps you're with Telstra or somebody else, you'll need to contact them to sort out what the issues are around your carrier situation. And of course, any payment inquiries that you may need, you just need to email finance@jims.net. Okay, so the next session we're going to take a look at is how to register for Jimbo. How to register for Jimbo. So it's pretty simple. By clicking on the register for Jimbo, all you need to do is to log in to your division. Now, if you click on this down arrow here, you'll see that we have a number of divisions that are available. Not every division is available. We only have about 14 at the moment. If your division isn't available, I would suggest you speak to the regional franchisor, speak to the divisional, and perhaps see how far away it is from becoming active. So, in this case, I'm going to log in myself. What I would do is dial up Jim's Mowing. You then need to simply type in your name. Simply put in your franchisee code, and then you will type in your email address. Now, one of the points I need to point out here is it'll only email back to the email that you have in your Jim's Online. So you can't go using a different email address. Make sure you suss out which one you have in our Jim's Online system, because that is the email address that the details will go to. You'll then need to verify this. So by just taking a look at this, I have 8166D. And once I click on the send message, what's going to happen here is this will send it into our IT department, and they will then return with an email to the email that you've listed in terms of Jim's Online, and that will have all of your contact details. So if I click on that, okie doke. Okay, not too sure what I've done there, but I'll certainly take a look at that. It's really interesting. Doesn't matter, I've got some details that I can use to log in anyway, so we will move forward from there. So what will happen is now you'll have an email back that will have all of your details there, and what we'll now do is we'll be able to go and use the client login screen. Now, with your details, you'll be able to simply access this one on the left here, which is Jimbo on the web. Once you click on that, what you'll be able to do is enter all of the details in that you've been provided, and that will then will be able to log in. If you also take a look further down, if you've got email set up on your iPad, simply Jimbo app for the iPad, click on this, and that will take you to the point where you can download the app. You can also then have this link on your phone, and then you'll be able to press on that button and get the little Jimbo, which is the companion for the iPhone. So basically, to do that, I'm going to take you through our training version, and I'm going to log in, and then I'll be able to show you some of the things that are happening around the Jimbo app. So as you can see, it's a pretty simple process to log in. You get your details and you put those in. One of the areas I need to point out is that you can't change your password at this stage. So it'll come through as a series of letters and numbers. Unfortunately, at this stage, that's how it will stay. And in the Jimbo 3 version, we should be able to change our passwords. Okay, so this is what it'll look like on your screen if you're using the Jimbo web. So you'll see here what we've done is we've designed it as a an iPad. So therefore, when you're working on it, and then when you perhaps go to an iPad or a tablet, the same sort of functionality will take place. So it's not like it's a completely different program. It's the same program, pretty much the same layout, and that means you should be comfortable in using it. Okay, I'm going to type in my access through here. You'll also see that it is case sensitive along the way. The good thing is that each section alters the case for you. So let's log in and let's take a look at what we have. Certainly going to be a great thing of the future, the iPad app, in terms of it'll become the hub for all franchisee information. So when we are going forward in years to come, this will be the real port that everything comes through in that area. Okay, just about logged in. Here we go. All right, so as you can see, what we've got here is this is what we call our front office. We can click and drag the mouse to the back office, and you'll see we have some other things. The other area is if we can't click and drag that with our mouse, simply by using the keyboard arrows, so the left and right one, we're able to just go left or right to get to whichever part we need to go to. So let's take a little bit of a look at what the Jimbo app can provide for you and how it operates in that sense. Okay, here's the first one. So in terms of the brochures, because we're online, we don't have access to the brochure. The brochure is designed for the iPad, and what it'll have is it's designed by the divisional at the top end, and what they can do then is put all of the services and make it a really nice glossy brochure. That will assist franchisees in terms of their sales. So you may well be with a client at the front door, just talking about some of the services you provide, and by flicking through your iPad, it's just part of a very professional sales process. I'll click off of that at the moment. You'll see here that we have a camera with our folio. If we click on that, we're also able to take our photos of before and after shots. Again, pretty important thing to do, I think, when we're dealing with some clients that perhaps may not be in the state. So you may have some properties you're working on that people live interstate. They may be investment properties. Let's take a photo, attach it to our quotes, and send that off to the client. Vice versa, it may just be some real estate agents that you're working for. And again, it also works well for your other clients where you might be able to say, here was a job that I did prior to finishing it. Here's the finished product. So again, a picture tells 1,000 words, and I think it's really important we continue to show that. The other point I want to make out here is that down here in the right-hand corner of the screen, you'll see a little blue dimple. If we click on that, what it enables us to do, and I'd probably talk more about being an advanced user for this section, but that enables you now to navigate to absolutely anywhere you want to go within the system. Okay. What I will do is I'll click here on the settings, and I'll just show you some of the settings that you can set up when you are first logging in. So you'll see here that down the left-hand side, we've got a number of areas of information that we can fill out. If I look here at my performance targets, what I'm able to do is put in there a starting date. Jobs per month, I want to do 50. Monthly revenue, I've set at $8,000. And my paid hours per month, I've set at 120. So again, these are some of my target setting that I'm setting up within the system. Your target settings will be relevant to your business. Click on Save on that. That'll now save all of that information as required. And you'll see later on where some of those performance targets are turned into reports. I can also click here on my business information. Again, we're able to update our ABN numbers. We may have some licensing and registration numbers. So, for instance, things like our electrical trades, our plumbing trades, they'll all have license registration numbers, and they can put those in there so that they are on our quotations and our invoices. You can also there put your region, so it doesn't matter where you are from within the country, you're able to set up your own state. Click on Save. Move over here to my billing addresses. I can put in all of that detail as well. So again, putting in perhaps your company details, putting in your address, and also then the suburb, state, and which country you're from. Pretty straightforward. Again, that will appear on your quotes and invoices. The next one down is obviously our bank details, so you're able to set up all your BSBs and account numbers and enable your clients to have that access to that very, very quickly. Again, just saving each section on your way out to make sure that that's relevant to your business. And in terms of the last one, general settings, you're able to put on there a generic message for all your invoice notes if you wish to. The invoices themselves also have a section where you can type into, but for instance right here, right now, you may want to be doing something like a Merry Christmas to every single invoice that you print out, or, send off via email. So again, you can set up that message and that will apply to every single one. If I reset that to default, that'll take that back to 0, and then therefore for the rest of the year, I'll just be putting in my own notes. Where the invoice notes work well can be around perhaps selling extra things to clients. So you might be leaving an invoice and saying, hey, notice there was something that needed doing on the property. Again, saving that and moving out. Perfect. The other button I want to show you is our home button here, which is in the top left-hand corner. So the home button enables us to click on that, and that'll take us back to either the front office or the back office, wherever we were working. So as you can see, it's taking me back here. The next button along I want to show you is this little machine here, which is our invoices. So if I click on that, you will see that it will start to throw up all of the quotations that I've provided within the system. So here on my left-hand side, you'll see here that we have a whole listing of invoices, quotations. So I've got 43 quotations in here at the moment. Now, due to a small fault within the training program, I should be able to click on that particular quotation and have it viewed here in the box. That's okay. That's all been updated on the actual live version, but on my training version, that's outstanding. You'll also see here that if I click it straight over to invoices, I've now got the whole listing of invoices that I can work my way through. As you can see here, these ones are all paid, so probably not too much to do in that detail. But if I come down to the bottom of the screen, you'll see here I've got a button that says dollars owing. If I actually click on that, you'll see here that it's now given me all of my outstanding invoices that need to be paid. So in terms of this one here, the first one, I've got a balance of $15. Where that becomes powerful is, here I am out in the field, let's say it's wet or I can't work or I'm waiting for a client to turn up. I could quickly pop into here and say, okay, Adam still owes me $15. I'll give him a quick call and just follow up and find out when that payment's coming through. The other good thing is that you can do a search. So again, you can either search by customer or invoice number, and you can also put in a date range there as well. Click on the search and away it goes. Just another handy little function that helps you run your business. You'll also see at the bottom we have a number of little reports. All of these reports will drop into an Excel spreadsheet or be a CSV file. The great thing about these is when we click on them, if you are working in your iPad, they will automatically populate into the email and you're able to forward that off perhaps to your bookkeeper. Otherwise, if you're working on the net, you'll need to save those to an Excel file and then email that file out to your accountant or bookkeeper. Again, you've got your debtors there, save to PC. You can also print straight out, and if you did have the actual quotation or invoice up here on the screen, you're able to edit that or contact the client ASAP. Okay, if I go back home, you'll also see here that we have a list of inquiries. These are all our jobs. This is where FMS4 will send your lead and your inquiry straight out of the system. So you can see here we've got 7 inquiries being sent. In terms of in progress, what that's showing us is that's calculating a number of all of the jobs that we've got scheduled in. So for instance, if you were servicing a property every 2 weeks over the next 2 years, that could be 52 jobs that are logged into that in progress scenario. So that number there will be a number that continues to go up and perhaps come down over a period of time. But it's a number that you'll relate to your business and be comfortable with. In terms of the archive, that's when a job's done and finished and completed in that sense. We come over here to maps. Again, this is just a part of our training side of things, so some of the information will be a little bit wide, but you'll see here that when the maps come up, it's just a visual way of being able to take a look at your business. So for instance, there'll be a map of Australia pull up here. We're able to, once that loads, we're able to check out any inquiries that we've had. If I also click down the bottom section here, I'll click on schedule. It'll show me if I've got any scheduled jobs. There we go. So, for instance, this is now showing us only through our training system what jobs are scheduled in around the country. Obviously, franchisees aren't going to work around the country, but again, it's just showing you a visual in that area. I can also click on quotes, and you'll see that I've got a couple of quotes popping up. And if I click on invoices, I'll have another color code, a flag, pop up as well. So if I click on completed, the next part of that will be to drill straight in. So if this was your system, you'd be drilling this in to your particular area that you're working in. So once that loads up, I'll just try and zoom in a little bit further, click it over. Now, if this is your business, it just starts to give you a visual representation of perhaps where your clients are. It might also just help you see that maybe doing this job over here in Ballarat may not be the best thing for your business. Again, depending on the services you're providing, that may be good and well. But at the end of the day, I suppose if you're running a smaller regular business around some of the customers like mowing, cleaning, dog wash, I'd probably suggest that travel time just shows that it's a bit far away in that sense. So again, it's a visual representation of your business and showing it on a map. The great thing is that when you do keep this up to date, you're able to have all of this sort of information around here, and so you're able to then use Gyms Online to log in and make sure those suburbs are highlighted for you. Okay, click on the home button. We'll go back out here to our main office. If I click and go to the back office, we've got our expenses report. So once this loads here, this will always load on today's date. So it'll always load on the brand new date. You don't need to alter that or change that. You'll see here that we'll have a list of our expenses, previous expenses over different days, and that's that whole listing there. If we take a little look here, Monday the 15th of December, let's just say that I had another expense to go in. It's a very simple system. We can click on Add Item here in our right-hand corner. Once I click on this list, I'll have a listing of other areas that I can go to. So let's say I've got some equipment repairs. All I need to do now is put in an invoice number, which is straight off the invoice that's there. I'll say that the total was $88 to fix it. Paid cash for that. I might put some notes in there. I can say it was a mower repair. And the really good thing is, if you are using your iPad, you're able to now take a photo of the tax invoice. And that way, you're able to keep that and remove the taxation, the tax paper. So in terms of tax invoices fading or getting lost in your car, take a photo of that and you've got a permanent record, which is by law in terms of the ATO. Again, you can bundle all of that up into a CSV file and you can send that off to your accountant or to your bookkeeper, and they can then upload that into any financial package that they're working with. So if they're working with MyOb, QuickBooks, Quicken, Cashflow, whatever it may be, they're able to just quickly upload that, and it's all good from that point of view. So you can save those, and that will keep working its way through. Okay, the next one on the home button, take us back out. Sometimes it's just a little slow to get out, mainly because of the internet connection. If we take us back out to the back office, I think one of the most exciting areas to look at is some of our reports. Our reports, when we do that, show us some great stuff. So let's take a look at what it's showing us. So some of these reports are built in where I started to fill in my performance targets and also what I'm looking to do on a daily basis. You'll see here that at the top of the page, while it's still loading, we have revenue and we have performance. I'm going to take a look at the revenue first up. Here we go. Now this is all based on just some of that information around that we're giving it. So like any computer system, the more accurate information you give it, the better results you'll get out of it in that sense. In terms of average profit per job, this is showing me what my average profit per job is. At the moment it's saying it's $299.26. I think we'd be pretty happy with that in most divisions. Over here we have our revenue versus gross profit. We're also able to grab these little tags and pick out different areas within our business of what we want to take a look at. We can also pick up the top here, our last week, our last month, our last 3 months, 6 months, and also the year to date. If you come down here, you also get a nice pie graph of all of your expenses, which is probably an easier way of taking a look at what's taking place in your business. Instead of trying to read charts and numbers and stuff like that, a simple pie chart seems to tell 1,000 words. You'll see here, if I double click on it, bingo, I can now get myself a full version of that particular report and take a really good look at what I want to do with my business. If I click off of that, you'll also see here you've got revenue versus expenses. The other part to take a look at is some of your performances. If we have a look here, we can click to our performance screen. This will just load. Let's take a look here at just some of the performance charts that it can show you. Okay, so we set up at the start of the session, we said, right, my target is 50 jobs. This is now tracking where I'm at through the day or the week. So I'm at jobs at 7, so I've still got a bit more to go within this particular month. We can also look at job sources, which is really an interesting way of making sure that our franchisors are spending our advertising money in the right place. So again, it becomes a really important report down the track. There's some of our job status. So you've got all your in progress, your inquiries, and also what's been archived. You've got your jobs in progress here. Again, you've got a little sliding scale you can push around and play around to get different particular reports in different areas. Again, we've got year to date, all of that, and all of the reports showing us what we want to take out of it. So again, once you start to work out what you want from that report, it works really well. The other area to look at here is our average revenue per job. You can see here that we've got a particular franchisee in yellow, and then we've got our group average. The great thing is, if franchisors are helping franchisees in their business, we could say here, well, look, your average revenue per job's doing really well, but we can see perhaps where it's starting to fall over. The average time spent per job is 4 hours for that franchisee, and yet the group average is only 1 hour. So you can see instantly where things are kept up to date that we can probably help franchisees along the way with showing them some great reports that will actually improve their business. Okay, again, click on the home button. And the last area I just want to quickly show you tonight is just taking a look at some of our client situations. So we've got our customers here. If I click on that, just before I do, the particular library here, if I click on that, there'll be nothing to download at the moment because it's only for the iPad version. But what that is all of your manuals, your OH&S policies, and all of that stuff that's controlled by the divisional franchisor. So that will come down from a different feed, but again, that's only for the iPad at this stage. Click on close, and if I go to customers, let's take a look at some of the customer screens. You'll see here that the screen is split into 3 basic areas. On the left-hand side, when that loads, you'll see a whole listing of our clients, which should be loading right now. So that's a whole listing there of your clients. You'll see in the center section that once we have a client selected, in this case Adam Christensen, we've got his site address, any quotes and invoices that have been done for the person or the client. We've got his jobs that are now loaded in and scheduled, and we can also attach any images. So the images work well also for some of our once-off divisions that may do a job, let's say it's an antenna job 4 years ago. You might take a photo of the place or the job, and it may be just some recognition around what that job was in case they call you back, let's say 4 years later. We can also put in there some customer notes that you guys can read. You'll have here will be where the person is located, and this is the whole link to your GPS via the little Jimbo aspect. You'll also see down here we have all of our client details, and again this is just showing you what's important about the client, all of their technical information, and how you can contact them. All of that information will be loaded onto your little Jimbo so that when you do arrive on the site, if you need to call the client, it's there at the push of a button. If you need to email the client, it's there at the push of a button. And if you need to text that client, you can do the same thing. If I quickly take a look here at some quotes and invoices, nope, what I might do is take a look at the job side of things. So this will load here. You'll see here that we have obviously a number of jobs that have been loaded in as part of our schedule. So that part there is showing us all of those predetermined jobs. These are all of our appointments. And again, I can quickly look at some of that history and quotes and invoices via pressing the button. These should load into here. Due to the connection, it may be a little slow. I'll leave those just for now and come back if I get a chance after. So again, this is where you start to deal with each particular client, and you're starting to take a look at what jobs are up next and what needs to be done. Probably one of the last things I will show you tonight will simply be our calendar. So again, this becomes your schedule, and you can quickly see here that when it loads up, you'll have the jobs that are on for the day. Now, because it's our training video, some of those numbers and jobs will be a little bit out of whack. Could be a high value, and it could be a lot of jobs. So again, it's pointing out here that on the 15th of December that we're going to earn $1,000, and these are the clients that we're going to deal with. Okay, you can see with the clients we've got obviously a name, we've got some addresses, we've got a phone number, we've also got the value of the job that's there. You'll see on the right hand side of the screen we have a visual representation, and these are the clients that are now scheduled in throughout our day. The great thing about the online version of this is that you can actually move the clients around if required. So for instance, this client's called me up and said, hey, can we make that appointment 12 o'clock? I can say yes, not a problem at all, it's now 12 o'clock. He might also say that, listen, when you first gave me the quote, it was to do all of the jobs, but I've knocked them all back. How about, though, I get you to do everything, and I might turn around and say, right, that's going to take me another 2 or 3 hours. I can now block that out within my calendar. And as you can see, it's pretty easy to do. You'll have a weekly schedule, which will show you what's on for the week. Which is pretty important when you're trying to do your planning for gyms online. Again, it will look a little bit messy due to some of our training part of it, but you can see that that's going to lay out perfectly for the week. It'll also have a total value for you, so it's constantly building that in. You can also check on your monthly schedules, and that'll show you what's on for the month looking forward. And then obviously we can also do a yearly total and also a yearly calendar. Now, in terms of the yearly calendar, you're going to see that there's a lot of blue boxes. All that blue box will represent is there is at least one job on for that particular day. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap this up for tonight. I thank you very much for your attendance. Tomorrow night, if you are logged in, we are looking at Jimbo Users and how they can actually get onto the site. And then on Thursday night, we're taking a look at some of the current Jimbo users and looking at some of their work. If there are any questions, please email those through to infotech@gyms.net, and I certainly thank you for your attendance tonight. Thanks, guys, and I'll talk to you soon.